All right. So, season 5, episode 14, To Love and Obey. I'm going to go through these videos quickly because I owe y'all a lot of videos and I want to crank them all out today. So, this was last week's episode, not 2 days ago. Well, not yesterday. So, I'm going to go through them and do as much as possible without giving too much information because we are a week behind. So Paul and Karine go back to Brazil and they're at the airport. And Paul is like, where's my mom? She wanted to come and say goodbye. It's not like her. And, he's just stressing out. And Karine's like, Paul, don't stress. Don't stress. She's very happy to go home. And Paul knows it because he found out the week before that she went to the immigration lawyer to find out about going back to see her family and maybe stay. I think she's going to stay. I don't think she's coming back because she's given Paul 2 months. He hasn't found a job. She said he doesn't look for a job. He just is on his phone all the time. And if you follow him on Instagram, all he does is do random nonsense videos of like weird stuff, of like them trying to promote a baby product. And I'm like, who gave y'all something to promote? Like, who will buy it from him because they sound crazy when he tries to do it? Whatever. So they're at the airport. Paul's mom comes and she's like, Paul, don't stress. Paul, don't stress. Paul, don't stress. And I'm like, does he have Asperger's syndrome or something? Because she just constantly says this to him and he gets wound up in his head. I don't know. Something's up with him. And that's the last part that we see. Then Andre and Libby's wedding. Her sister is preparing her face just to put red lips on, and her sister is still trying to get her to find out what is wrong with Andre. Why did he get kicked out of his force? And they're still trying to fight the fight that is going nowhere. It's a never-ending battle. Girl, stop. Like, Libby, I feel like no matter what they say to her about what he did not do, could have done, maybe did, it's not going to change nothing. She's not going to go nowhere. So just let it go and move on. She puts on the traditional Moldovan outfit. It's ugly as all hell, but that's the tradition, but it's still ugly. And then they pan over to Andre and his friends where they're getting ready, and his friends are laughing at him because he gained so much weight. And he said, well, I'm a stay-at-home dad and I eat fast food. I'm like, you ain't lying, because he don't plan on working. Like, Libby's father paid for him to get a trucking license and go to trucking school. He did that. Ain't working. He said, I can go online and be a handyman. That ain't happened yet. So you literally stay home and eat all day. Oh yeah, and Chuck tried to get you a job working with him. You didn't like that. You rather not work for the money that he gives you versus him just giving you money because he's supposed to. Like, how'd that work? I need a handyman. You know how hard it is to find a handyman? Like, come on. If you charge somebody per job or per hour, it's income. But he's gotten comfortable thinking America is this great place and he ain't got to do shit because Elizabeth says you ain't got to do shit. Like, when the baby get 2 and 3, you still going to do the same thing and be at home with her? Anyway, they go to the wedding. Before they go to the wedding, they do the church ceremony, and Andre has to come and brief them on everything regarding church. And I'm like, people know how to act in church. People don't know how to act when they go to jail. People don't know how to act when they go to the store. But church, they know. So he's telling them, you go in, you sit down, you be quiet. You don't do anything. It's very respectful. Shut up. Like, shut up. And they do the whole ceremony. They walk around each other. They put the crowns on. They do this whole thing and yada, yada, yada. Then they go and change at the wedding to a different outfit. Thank God, because that outfit was horrible. And she had better shoes, y'all. She had better shoes. They get to the wedding, and the camera consistently goes to Charlie because Charlie has been drinking like a skunk. And he is drunk as a skunk, walking around that wedding, just ice grilling Andre with like the squinty, beady eyes. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, it's getting intense. And I'm like, what is going on? So I guess it's everything that has happened, and it's all festering. And the father gets up and he's like, I want to say a speech. The father says the speech, and then Charlie's like, and they're tugging back and forth. He snatches the mic, and he's like, you're not gonna talk to my dad like that, and you're not gonna basically use my family. When you go back to America, you get a real job and you stop using my effing family, dude. That's what you do. And then somebody... Sorry, my Siri keeps picking... Alexa keeps picking up. Oh, and it's just ugly. Then Andre's like, I'm gonna fuck your brother up, lady. I'm gonna fuck your brother up. And I'm like... And it just gets ridiculous. So they dancing, having a good time, and this wedding is over the top, y'all. Like electric floors, dancers, singers, and I'm just like, what is really happening at this wedding? Nonetheless, they have the wedding. It's a good time, and nobody gets hurt. And they proceed, they move on, and they celebrate, and it is a good time to be had by all. And the family is still in their confessionals talking nonsense. Ugh, they get on my nerve. Then we have Kalani and Asuelu. They pick up Asuelu's mom and his sister Rosa, the one that's deaf. And Asuelu was in the car. And he's like, where's Tammy? And she says, Asuelu, Tammy is coming later. That's how she talks. And his mom says, where's Kalani and the kids? But then she goes to the confessional and she says, I'm only here for Asuelu. I don't care about the kids or Kalani. I want them to divorce and go back to Samoa so he can give us some money. And I'm like, wow, lady, wow. Like, she's the old grandma that really is the one that's supposed to care about the kids, and it's all about the kids, but she don't give a shit. All she cares about is that scratch. They get to the Airbnb, and the family is talking, and he's like, Mom, I want you to apologize to Kalani. She told me what you said about getting a divorce, and I don't like that, and you should just stop it. I don't want no drama. And I'm like, oh, is Asuelu growing some balls and talking to his mother? And his mother is looking like, oh, who are you talking to? And his mom is still saying, I don't understand why you can't give us money. She's still with this money thing, and it's a pain in my ass, so I'm sure it's a pain in his. And she's like, I think I understand why you talk to me like that. It's because you put your wife first. Are you not supposed to? And he goes, Mom, I want you to apologize and make my family happy because it puts me in a bad place. Do you want Kalani to divorce me? And then what about the boys? You don't love me and the boys? I always love you, my son. And then she says, but I want Kalani to be divorced. And I think if I tell Kalani to divorce you, that she will get scared because he's such a great meal ticket that she will just do whatever I ask and you be together. And I'm like, but you don't love the grandkids? She never answered that question. Suspect. And he's still saying he wants to be drama free and just apologize when we go out to the lunch. And then they show Kalani and her parents at the restaurant, Big Low in the house. And Kalani's trying to prep them for Tammy and his mother. And like, their family is different. You have to understand, like, get ready for some nonsense and some shenanigans. And they get together and Tammy comes and she said they're trying to talk but not talk because it's getting awkward. And Asuelu starts the conversation. I'm like, oh, look at you. You go, big boy. And he's just like, thank everybody for coming. You know, I just want to make everybody happy. I want everybody to just talk and be nice to each other. And then what's the boy's name? Asuelu's mom, Kalani, I want to say I'm sorry for what happened. And then Asuelu was like, no, and then the mom is like, Tammy's too. She goes, no, I'm not. She goes, I'm not apologizing for what I said. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. Well, tell us how you really feel, Tammy. And the mother, Kalani's mother, is like, well, how do you want them to give what they don't have? And Tammy's like, why are you talking to my mom? You don't talk to my mom. So a grown woman can't talk to a grown woman. And Kalani's mother said, as respectfully and as humbly as I'm saying this, I'm no disrespect. I'm asking a question. She was trying to be nice. And Tammy still feel like can't nobody talk to her mother but Asuelu. And I'm like, you sound crazy. And I just don't know why they can't get, or what has no one said, I don't have a full-time job. I have a part-time job. And yes, we live with her parents, but they're not funding our lifestyle. We're living with them because we have no money. Kalani, your ass should have knew you shouldn't have had no damn babies, plural, if you wasn't going to work, you couldn't work, and he had a part-time job at a yogurt shop? Who said, let me have another kid? Like, get on birth control. It's 2020. When it comes to these situations where they have all these babies and they can't afford this and they don't know how to do that, but just like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like, you have a baby, fine. She got pregnant on vacation with the first man that looked her way. She got pregnant. I don't know if she has issues. I don't know what attracted her to him, because I've never heard her talk the language. I don't know if she can talk the language. That maybe in his language he comes across as more attractive. Everybody loves their bunkie, but nothing that he has ever said was like, oh, he's a nice guy. Nothing that he has ever said is, I could see how she fell for him. Because I can't. But, who am I? Because I might not be attracted to everybody else. Just like, people like what they like. I'm going to just stop right there because I can keep going into this girl. But to have a second kid with him and he wasn't working the first time, so y'all either on the system or your parents are paying for everything. And then he's saying he's tired of being in the middle and having to stand up for himself on both sides of the fence. And Lo is looking at him like, yeah, you finally stand up for my daughter, because I told you I'm going to bust your ass if you don't take up for my daughter, and ain't but so much I could do. And Lo is saying they weren't prepared to mix the cultures because both cultures are so different. And he said, because where I come from, I would never put my second family in front of my first family. First family meaning his wife and his kids. He says, and you put your real family aside, you're not doing that, but you can't give what you can't give. And, he's just saying, Mom, you disrespected us. No, his mother says, Kalani, you disrespected us by not obeying us and giving us money. And Lo looks at her like, bitch, what? And he's just quiet. And I think it's just the cultural where he was just like, let me just, because she's an elder in that tribe and that's, where he's from. And it's just not going well. And then they say, so we know when Kalani says, no, when Asuelu tells us no, he can't give us money, it's really Kalani telling him to tell us no. So Kalani's mom was like, well, oh, so you trying to tell me that it's my daughter's fault that they don't have money? Or you think Kalani's always telling him no? I'm like, no, Kalani's probably telling him, babe, we don't have the money because we have this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill. I'm sure he don't pay no bills in the house. When I say he don't pay no bills, I'm saying he doesn't write checks. He doesn't go online and do. I don't think he's with it enough to pay a bill. Just my opinion. And it's just Tammy's like, yeah, it's all her. It's all Kalani. And she says, they talk about the $1,000, but you can't send them $1,000 and then your instant family is starving. And he says, we can't. If we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. Whatever we will do, we will do. Basically, if we ain't got it, you ain't got it. If you got it, you should give it to us. And if we don't have it all, we'll give you something. And if you don't like that, then the Samoa bank account is closed and you get nothing. And I was like, oh, well, I was very surprised. And he said, and then the mom is like, it's done. I hate what you're doing. I hate what you are saying, but I love you. And if you don't send money, it's up to you. And the mom says, again, I'm sorry to Kalani. And, Tammy said, I'm not apologizing. I said what I said, and I want them to get a divorce, and I want the old Asuelu back. Kalani's older than him, and she manipulates him, and I don't care. And the mom and dad, like, it's not going to be fixed in one meeting, so let's just call it what it is. Have a good time. Thank you for coming. Like, God bless and good night. Okay, fine. Larissa got her nose job and her boob job. They showed the details. I'm not going to talk about it because don't nobody care about them like that. They're just on the show for a check. Angela and Michael's wedding was very nice. Angela looked beautiful. She had a very nice headpiece. She came down the aisle. Michael was cheesing ear to ear. And they get in front of the officiant and he just starts yelling out this: if anybody marries another person in this marriage, it is called bigamy. And bigamy is punishable for 5 years in jail. Okay. Like, that got to be said. But, again, cultural. And then we find out Michael's name is not Michael. His name is Kahindi Michael Islami. Oh, it's Salami. Is it Salami? I don't know. Let me just stop playing. It's been a long road for them. I'm happy that they're finally seeming to be happy, and they didn't fight from the time they got married until she leaves, which is amazing and a godsend. And she, the guy is repeating, love, love, honor, honor, obey, obey. And Angela was like, what? What? She's making a joke of it. It's not the time, Angela, just because the people don't really all speak English, so it didn't really make sense. But, you do what you do. And they're packing up her friend. They go to the reception, and they change, and they have red. Angela has a red dress, and Michael has a red suit on. He's making it rain on her. It's cultural to give the wife money. I'm sure it's money either from his family because they help pay for the ceremony and the wedding. They're dancing, having a good time. The cake is beautiful. Half the cake is Nigerian flag and the other half is American flag. But the cake topper was two black people. I'm like, well, who the black woman? Who that? They didn't have a white woman to put on top? But okay. Then they're going to get Joe's friend, ready to go back to the States. And they go to have dinner because they want to buy her dinner for her coming and supporting this marriage for them to make it real in Nigeria and him to be able to come over to the States. And then she decides it's appropriate and time for her to ask Michael questions about what his intentions are about a green card or just coming over there and leaving her. You wait all this time. You've been there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And you wait till now to ask this man this question after they get married, like to start a fight. Like, why would you ask? Why would you do that? Just stop. They got married. You support it then. You support it now. Shut up and move on. Then later that night, Angela gets a call from her daughter that her mom is not responsive. Her daughter calls the ambulance, and Angela can't really hear what's going on because the ambulance is talking. The kids are in the background, and she's really unclear, and all she heard was not responsive. And Angela said, I feel guilty. Is it my fault that mama's in the hospital? She feels horrible. To be so far away and can't get home like that is a killer. I'm sure. When Angela is this nice, this caring, compassionate woman when it comes to her mom and the kids, and she shows emotion, it humanizes her in a way that we have not seen, because all we see is Angela smoking with shit in her bra and yelling at Michael. But these moments are so endearing. It just makes her like a regular person. We know she is, but it just calms her down and brings her down to a normal level. And the normalcy that she provides for the show at these moments make her likable. So she doesn't know what's happening, and she says she's just nervous. Her nerves are shot. She got a flight to go back home, but it's 20-hour flight. So it's almost 24 plus hours, and she don't know what's going on. And to get back home, and then her mom says they got her mom stable. So Angela is trying to get back to the airport and go home. So, which is a good thing. We do know later that her mom passed away. So that's a spoiler alert if you didn't watch it. Sorry. Colt and Jess, and Colt is trying to work out and lose weight, and it's just insane. So just look at the video. I'll let you watch. He looked good and crazy. But he trying though. God bless his heart. Go Colt. Go Colt. Anyway, his friend is come to help him work out. And he's just like, you need to get back to who you are, man. But the common denominator is your mother. Everybody that you get with has a problem with your mother. And you have to get back to who you are and know who you are. We also find out that Vanessa moved out because she was living there temporarily while her divorce stuff settled, and then she could find somewhere to go. Jess is gone. Now it's just him and his mom, which I'm sure Debbie is so happy about. But I'll get to the next episode in 2.5 seconds. Talk to y'all later. Like and subscribe.